One of the things that we have the joy and the pain of knowing is the beauty of these people. I mean, the beauty of these persons and what they bring to a community sometimes, of sharing, of service, of being, of putting their talents at the service of others. And it's like you don't have access to tell the higher echelon or the people that are making decisions about them. If you only knew who this person was, you would want to hold on to them. You would want to hold on to them for the good that they're doing in this country. Refugees come, they're refugee asylum seekers. Okay? People come seeking freedom, fleeing persecution. When we welcome people into Canada, and it's hard, and they're traumatized, but there's such a feeling of hope, and especially for people that have children, that their children will have a better life, will have a better future. They have to be proven to be bona fide refugees, as we'd say, once they are inside Canada, through a long, lengthy process of probably a year or so. At the end of this process, they will receive a decision. Yes, they are considered bona fide refugees, and their lives would be in danger if they went back to their own countries. Or they can get a negative decision, sometimes with the explanation, your country now has signed a peace accord, so you are not in danger. We don't always know. We're very far from the reality of some of those countries, but that's what happens. Accompanying people when they're being removed is, in a certain sense, like accompanying people that are in any kind of deep pain, illness, loss, even death. This is an interior death for these people in some ways. We had the case the other day of a family that was removed to the U.S. They've been in Canada 2 years. They've lived in the St. Catharines area for 2 years. Their 4 children have been in the schools, speaking at this point excellent English, had really entered into the society, had gone to school, had all their friends, furniture. So they find themselves then with this order that on such and such a day, they have to leave the country. Okay. They start with all of the practical things involved in getting ready to leave. Calling the phone company, calling the gas company, going to the bank, closing their account, and then little by little starting to give back their furniture and things or sell anything that they may have bought during these 2 years. They come to the day of their deportation, they can't have anything in their houses, in their home. So at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the morning, a volunteer will come with the car to accompany the people, practically speaking, for the transportation, but more importantly, for some kind of moral support, to be with them, to accompany them. Unfortunately, it's often a whole day process, just the passage from Niagara Falls, I don't know how many kilometers, probably 30, to Buffalo on the other side of the Peace Bridge. There are all kinds of dynamics going on, all kinds of things happening between the children and their parents. The children that perceive that the parents are sad, and at the same time they don't understand, so they're playing, they're laughing. And the parents having to be all things to their children at that moment, even though inside, we can just imagine what they're living inside themselves, and they still have to be there for their children. It's a long process of waiting, which adds to the already difficult, painful situation.
Yes. Morning. My name is Mr. Howe. I'm going to be looking after your removal this morning. Okay.
Waiting in immigration on the Canadian side until someone comes and talks to you, till your papers are accepted, till you're able to finally go outside and get into the van. A little bit of fear when the bags don't seem to fit into the van and the officials aren't too happy because you've brought too much, and for you, you've brought so little, you've left a whole life. When the people are put in the van in Niagara Falls, no one is allowed to accompany them except the immigration officers and the people themselves. So what we would do would be to get into our cars and drive behind them, trying to stay as close as possible to them, so that we will be at arriving more or less at the same time, that they know that we're still with them. And trying to imagine what it means for them to see all those familiar sights, the earth and the trees, which to so many of the people, it means so much to them. All of that somehow is part of what they have to leave, when they leave Canada. And then arriving at the bridge, this bridge that is really so in itself very short. There's very few kilometers between the U.S. border and the Canadian border. Yet for them, it's completely two different worlds. Other people have to allow them to go over that bridge or to come back over that bridge. Would that we could continue after, but we can't. But it's a very important moment in their lives, and an important moment for us to be with. We feel they have the right to have someone share that moment with them, because it is so painful. Sometimes you even wonder what use. The usefulness of it all is that somehow you feel that for a time these people have felt that they are loved and cared for. Even if the system does not allow them to stay, at least hopefully they will leave Canada with the sense, I was loved and cared for while I was there. For me, that's what makes it worthwhile.